Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Today I'm going to be comparing a couple different Makita rear handle saws. We have the old version, the 36 volt version, and Makita was kind enough to send us the 40 volt version and a battery to test this saw with. And so I put brand new blades on both of these saws, and we're gonna see if we notice much of a difference between the two as far as power and that kind of thing. But before I do, let's just go over some of the features of this saw. I have taken the battery out of it. The tool came separately, and then the batteries were shipped separately. This is an XGT 40 volt, 4 amp hour battery, model number BL4040F. This is fully charged. It has a power indicator right on the back, and it takes a special charger too. So if you have the old 18 volt platform, you're gonna have to swap over to a different charger to charge these. They're not compatible, okay? And from first initial look, comparing the two saws, they're very similar as far as the base plate and some of the other features. The exhaust port, I really like this on the Makita saw. There's an exhaust port right here that you can hook up a shop vac to if you are into dust collection, or you can just leave it here. The cool thing is, though, it doesn't exhaust right here and blow sawdust all over you like some of the other brands do. So I noticed that that's kind of a nice feature. It has a grab handle on top, which most saws do. And because it's cordless, it has a safety feature. So it has a spring-loaded thumb press that you press, and then you can pull the trigger to trigger it on. Has a rafter hook as well. I like it. It's nice and wide, so that I don't know if it'll fit a double joist. Ooh, it's 2 3/4, so it's probably not going to fit a double joist or a beam, but for a little single joist, no problem. Obviously, that's where the battery goes. And then it has a shaft lock right here for changing out your blades, and that obviously comes in handy. I like this shaft lock too. It's fairly robust. It's not a thinner, like push pin style blade lock like I've seen on a lot of other tools that sometimes can fail as we work out in the weather and things rust. And because they're not made maybe in stainless steel or a non-corrosive material, sometimes when you're trying to bust that loose, you got to put a little extra pressure on the nut, and sometimes you can break the inner parts. I've done it before. So one thing I really like about this model, it comes with its own onboard tool blade changer. Even though I have a square with the same fitting that this has, or the same size nut driver, it's still just really nice to have it on board the tool. And it looks like it's in a good place where it's not gonna just easily vibrate out. So that is a 13 millimeter. And then you have your depth of cut right here. Some guys like to leave that loose when they're cutting. Some guys don't. It's really all depends on what you're doing with it. There's a rough reference point for different depths of cut in inches. And there's also a marker right here that you would go, okay, I want to cut something an inch deep, or I need to cut an inch deep. Then you put it on that mark and you can just lock it down and you're good to go. Okay. So sometimes that's cool. I don't know if it's 100% accurate depending on your blade, right? The type of blade. Now I just put 2 brand new Diablos on here, and man, we're right at 1 inch. So it's fairly accurate, which is great. I would expect it to be. Makita is a fine tool company. They make really high quality tools, and I wouldn't expect anything less but something of high quality out of this company. All right. I stopped using them quite a while ago because we had some issues with an older battery platform, and I lost a whole bunch of batteries, and I just got really frustrated and said, okay, I'm done with this particular platform for a while. And then new tools came out, so on and so forth, and you know the story from there. Doesn't mean that I'm not open to trying new tools or new technologies or new battery platforms, because you never know the longevity. You might be charging twice as less because the 40 volt platform, maybe the batteries last longer. We haven't had these tools long enough to really know. We have had them long enough to make some first impressions, okay? And then obviously you have over here, your tilt. Another cool feature, like on other Makita saws, you can go into a lockable degree of 45 degrees, but if you need to cut more than a 45 degree angle, you can actually turn this dial right here, and it lets you unlock other angles. So if I want to go all the way to 50, I don't want to break it. I did that once. I actually broke the the angle. Oh, there it is. Right now we're at 45. Now I can lock it in at 22.5 by turning it to here. Now it locks at 22.5, which is kind of a nice feature. And then if I want to, I can lock it at 53. So this saw will cut all the way to 53 degrees if you need it to. And there are, for me, there's not a whole lot of scenarios like that, but there have been scenarios where I need to get through something at more than a 45-degree angle. So you're getting another 8 degrees of angle out of this saw by just simply turning this dial. Okay, now let's just say I want to go back to locking out at 45. I can turn it back to 45 on this dial and spin it. And now it locks at 45. So as long as you don't break this, it's a great feature. One time I got really frustrated and just started cranking on it, and it just spun and it didn't work anymore. So just be careful with this knob that you're not over adjusting it. I think you would loosen it up and bring this back down, and then you can just easily turn it. There we go, 22.5, boom. We're locked in at 22.5. It's a pretty cool feature. 53. So anywhere between 45 and 53, I'm cool. And then I spin this back around. I go back to close to 0, and then I go back to 45. So that's that. How does the saw run? Well, let's find out. And just for giggles, we went ahead and powered up this saw as well. We got a brand new blade on this 36 volt saw. Neither of them have taken a cut. We have charged batteries in both saws. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the battery back in here. And let's start cutting. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this 4x6 in half. And I'm just gonna start with the new saw. And I'm gonna do a 3-sided cut. I'm gonna go this way, I'm gonna turn it, cut it, and then turn it and cut it. So here's what the new 40 volt Makita, and I've got it at full depth. I don't need it at quite full depth, but that's okay. And I do notice here, they do have a couple indicators. If you are a follow the plate kind of guy, here's the line that you would follow this line with. And if you're on a 45, there's another one over here. So I usually do a little bit of both. Once I'm up and rolling, if I have a long cut, I'll follow a line. If I'm doing shortcuts like this, I'm usually following the blade with the line. So let's go ahead and make that cut. Nice. So lots of power. Boy, it cuts fairly deep too. Almost 2 5/8 depth on that cut. So that's pretty deep. 2.5 for sure. A little over 2.5. I would say almost 2 5/8. Not quite, but close. So just so you know. And then now I'm gonna go this way. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just finish my cut, roll the saw over, and this cut is smooth. I'm off a little bit right here. I mean, that's an easy fix by just going like that. That was a nice smooth cut, plenty of power, no issues there. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and use the other saw. Now I'm just gonna cut a little bit off the edge of this, like an inch. And normally when I'm doing this, I'd draw a line like this, draw another one like this, and then I'd finish turning it over and draw it like this. And then I may just follow that line with my saw versus using a square. All right, so let's go ahead and cut this. Wow, I actually noticed quite a difference in the power of that cut. That did take quite a bit longer to get through. Here, let's finish the cut. Okay, so just to be fair, I'm gonna do that again in a little bit thicker part of this board, just so the saw's not trying to tilt out. I mean, that was still a nice cut. It still did a pretty good job. You can see the end. You know, it's fairly smooth, and that has more to do with the blade really than the saw. I think this plate might be off a little bit because it seems like it's cutting at a slight bevel or actually a slight miter. Let's try to be as fair and accurate as possible to make sure that we let the plate sit completely flat and resting on this board. I'm not trying to be biased here. I mean, I can obviously audio-wise hear a difference in the power of that 40 volt saw versus this 18 volt saw, but I just want to confirm it, and then I'm going to run another run on this one too, just to see. Okay, so here we go. it takes a little bit more effort to get through the wood than it did with the other saw. It still does the job fine, but it does take a little more time. That was a pretty nice cut. It's fairly flat. Okay, now we'll do the same thing again with the 40 volt, and let's see if you guys notice any difference. If you do, definitely comment below your thoughts. And if you own this saw, let me know what you think. It's always great to hear our subscribers and what they think about this brand of this type of tool and the performance difference. And all you framers out there, which platform do you like better? Is it because you have more of these type of batteries, more 18 volt batteries? Is that why you like this more and it goes with all your drills and all your other tools? Or are you adapting over to the 40 volt platform that has a little bit more power? And I could see framers wanting this saw. And as far as weight, I have carpal tunnel now, so I don't know about, they feel about the same. All right, you guys ready? Man, that just has... This saw is just winding up way harder than this one. The only negative thing about this saw that I so far can say is it's heavier than like the Metabo HBT rear handle saw. That saw has good power. We'll do another video where we compare this saw against the Metabo saw and see which one comes out on top. I think if you're cutting blocking all day and you're raising and lowering this saw all day, you're gonna definitely feel a difference between the weight of this saw versus the Metabo saw. But the power in this saw is pretty impressive. So just that wind up, you can hear the difference. How much more power this saw has than the 36 volt. So let's finish this cut. I mean, it just muscles right through. It doesn't matter if there's a knot or anything else in the way. All right, fair enough. Now that we got that done, it's a little sloppy, but that's the cutter, not the saw. But it's not bad. You got a 16th inch there. You can belt sand that out, or you could probably take another kerf at it, but you might end up over kerfing the board then and end up cutting more off. All right, so one more thing we're gonna do a full depth rip. I'm gonna rip a line. Now, if you'll notice on pressure treated hemlock, I get this question all the time. This is a side educational piece for you guys, okay? Because a lot of you have never seen this type of lumber before. And what they do is they call these incisions. They look like staples, right? And they have these machines, and it's called knurling. There's this knurling machine that comes in and knurls these fingers. And it helps soften up the material so they can inject and force the treatment deeper into the board, which you can see does not go in very far anyways. They say they're treating it to refusal, but I think they're just trying to pump out too much. Look at these growth rings, man. They're so loose. That's why we're adapting over to aluminum on a lot of our builds, because the framing of today just isn't what it was. It looks nice. They're pumping these forests out faster. I was talking to somebody the other day about it, how they're chemically inducing lumber and timber to grow faster. So I don't know if that's true or hypothesis or fact or fiction or whatever, but it made for some interesting thoughts, an interesting conversation. So, oh, don't forget to hit the subscribe button too if you're enjoying this video. All right, the other thing we do a lot with our rear handle saw is we cross cut, which we just did a test on. Now we're gonna do a rip. We're gonna do a full depth rip all the way through the board. We're gonna do the 40 volt first, and then we'll do the 36 volt next, okay? Obviously this saw is brand spanking new. It's only a week old. This saw I've had it for a couple years, but it's not well used because of the battery platform that I did not have on my job site. This saw sat in my shop for 1.5 years. And then I brought it back and we started using it and we're like, hey, cool. And then all this stuff showed up and we're like, okay, we're gonna invoke our Makita brand and put it back on site for a while and see how we do with it. So let's do this full rip. I'm gonna pick this line right here. I'm gonna line this line up right here to these little incisions. Now these incisions are pretty much square to this board. If I line up my square, these incisions all kind of line up this way. and they kind of line up this way as well. So they're kind of a cheat indicator. I tell guys when you're air nailing anything lumber-wise, because they do incised materials, not only in 4x material, but they also do it in 2x. So we do a lot of air nails with that, right? When we do that, if you follow these incisions down, some guys will nail like this. I'm like, what are you doing, man? You're missing the joist on the bottom nail. Follow these incisions and you'll never miss. Quick tip for you. I'm full of information today. All right, here we go. 2 5/8 depth cut, full rip. That was pretty easy and pretty quick. I mean, I could do that all day long. That was awesome. Let's see what the old saw does. I'm gonna go two incisions over. All right, that saw did fine too, but I was giving it the same amount of force. I was kind of pushing hard on it, and you could hear the saw bog down a little bit. All right, so if I had to choose one saw to work with, this one right here is definitely the winner. The 40 volt Makita. It has all the features of the 36 volt, but with more power. It's just gonna get you through the material stronger and quicker, and it was a joy to use. So if you like this video, don't forget, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to be notified when we're putting out new content. And don't forget to listen to our new podcast and order a t-shirt down below and get one for all your friends and family, because Dr. Decks shirts are cool to wear. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.